Chael, what do you make of the heat Diego Sanchez is getting for taking the DQ against Michel Pereira?
Completely unfair. Ariel, we are in a combat sport that has very, very limited rules. The rules that are limited, including kneeing a downed opponent in the head, is invoked by a point taken away, by an illegal tactic, by the option to stop the match in its entirety, as we saw right here. There's in place because this is such a vicious and nasty thing to do to somebody. There's not very many rules that we don't have. Look, if Diego was hurt, and he was hurt, for him to then use that mechanism that is built in is a very smart thing to do. And I got to tell you something. Allow me to be a little bit wordy, but this is important. There was a phenomenon going around in the year 2008 that if a fighter was fouled and did not get up and continue, did not get up and show that courage and the spirit, that Dana White himself would be bothered and upset. The media had created that, but it was a very real narrative and phenomenon. We had a UFC Fighter Summit, which means Dana White brings everybody that's under contract from anywhere in the world. He flies you in, he gives you a hotel room. There's a whole week of classes you have to take. Dana White walks in the room. He said, I just want to be very clear in front of all of you right now. If you are ever fouled in a fight and you do not want to continue, you will not get a cross look, a cross word, or a cross judgment from me. The media has created it. As a matter of fact, and this is Dana White's words, and this is why I remember it in 2008. He said, until this point in time, since I've been running the UFC, we have only had one fighter illegally fouled get up, continue the contest, and win. If you are hurt against the rules, feel free to say no mas.
Yeah, and Dana's 100% right. I think the lack of respect shown towards Diego Sanchez over the last few days has been absolutely disgusting. And I would argue that most people who are showing that lack of respect, who are throwing that vitriol towards him for what he did in the decision that he made, which was the right one, probably bet on Michel Pereira to win on Saturday night and are upset because he was up 2-0 en route to victory and are mad that he made that boneheaded move. At the end of the day, all the criticism, all the vitriol, all the hate needs to go towards Michel Pereira. You're up 2-0 and you throw a very, very illegal knee. Why? You need to have the presence of mind and understand that your opponent is down to the ground. To throw any kind of hate towards Diego Sanchez is ludicrous to me. This man is put in a position where he is rocked, where he is cut open, and you're asking him if he wants to continue. Why should he continue? He wins the fight. And I see a lot of people saying, oh, he asked the referee, if I stop the fight now, do I still win? That clearly is a sign that he played the system, he played the game. No, he just wanted to know. The guy was rocked. Oh, he asked to speak to his coach. This is a guy who, was trying to play the system. No, he was rocked. He got hit with an illegal knee. In what other sport is the guy who is hit with the illegal shot viewed as the enemy, viewed as the bad guy? In the NFL, when you get hit with a face mask, do you ask the guy who had his face pulled off if he wants to take the penalty? No, it's a penalty. End of the day, call the fight. It's illegal. The guy's cut open. It's absolutely ludicrous to put this on Diego Sanchez. And I hope that we stop doing this. Stop asking him if he wants to continue. Call the fight. It's over. The same way, by the way, the fight with John Jones and Anthony Smith should have been called when John Jones hit Anthony Smith with the illegal knee. I still think till this day that Anthony Smith made a big mistake by continuing to fight. And I think Diego Sanchez would have made a big mistake had he continued to fight on Saturday as well.
And Ariel, the only thing that a referee cannot do with the athlete in this situation is educate the athlete, okay? The athlete, if he asks a question such as Diego's question of, hey, what happens if we stop right here? The referee cannot answer that. That is reminiscent and very relevant. If you'll recall, the fight with Chris Weidman and Gegard Mousasi, the brand new unified rules of what a downed opponent was in play. This is the first time it was tested. Chris Weidman was fouled. Chris Weidman is going to assume he's going to win by disqualification. He might even have to default to going, well, I don't really know the administrative rule in the jurisdiction that I'm in. This could be ruled a no contest. We were all stunned to see the result be a TKO loss against Weidman. None of us knew, is the point I'm attempting to make. I have a resentment, Ariel, and it's a very small one. It's probably only 10%, but it's a resentment nonetheless, that the fighter who is fouled so egregiously that there is no question, the fight is stopped, the opponent himself even stops, knows what he did wrong, the referee signals that it's wrong by going to the judges and taking 1 point away, and then turns and asks that athlete's opinion. Why would we even need Diego's opinion? It was illegal. Not very many things are illegal in this sport. So when you see something illegal, my goodness, it has to mean something. Why do we need Diego's opinion? Diego never should have been asked, do you want to continue? He was kneed in the head, he was cut open, it was dirty, and it was illegal. Even if accidental, stop the fight.
I couldn't agree more. And at the end of the day, it's just a smart move on his part. Let's not forget the fact that these men, for the most part, get paid 50% to show and 50% to win. For Diego, this was a smart move. You got the W. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything illegal. It's all on Michel Pereira. He doesn't deserve to win the fight if he's throwing illegal strikes. To argue that Diego did anything wrong, to me, is absolutely ludicrous, and it's very disrespectful towards one of the greatest of all time. I mean, this guy's a legend, right? I mean, he's had, what, almost 50 fights, almost 30 in the UFC, more than 30 in the UFC. Only remaining fighter in from Tough One. Are you kidding me? You're questioning this man's heart? Is he a little wacky at times? Sure, but you can't question his heart.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.